Every person in the world of Ulandria is born with a gift of some kind. Knights have massive destructive powers and skill in battle. Crafters create all kinds of items as long as they have a little bit of matter to work with. Channelers have the ability to see things at great distances, communicate with people from far away, and knaves have a little bit of everything, but are never as powerful as someone with just a single gift. The story follows a boy named Mikhail, who is an apprentice scholar at the university. All he wants to do is study and try to better understand the abilities that every Ulandrian is born with, but that is upset by his master's murder. He swears he will find the killer, and the elders send him to do so, despite the fact that all he has to go on is a sliver of black clothing found clutched in his master's hand. On his quest to find the killer, he is accompanied by a knight named Rakan, who serves as his protector. He and Rakan soon become fast friends, and Rakan's skills get Mikhail out of a lot of dangerous situations, and teaches him how to wield a sword properly. Rakan is the default companion if someone is playing alone, and he's replaced in story by the second player's character if another person joins. The only person Rakan is unable to defeat is the Juggernaut, a nearly invincible knight sent after them by the mysterious murderer. They end up facing him multiple times on their quest, nearly escaping each time until they finally catch up to him in the end and defeat him. Sadly, they were too late to save the king, though they do find and confront the murderer, who turns out to be one of the king's advisors who is collaborating to usurp the throne. Ulandria's main currency is pure gold, for the simple reason that crafters cannot duplicate gold properly for some unknown reason. Players in the world of Ulandria have a few different ways to obtain gold, and many things to spend it on as they acquire it. Gold is also a major component in many of the higher level crafting recipes, since gold holds an enchantment better than any other metal. The most straightforward way of obtaining gold is by completing quests, given by quest givers who are usually important inhabitants of the town, such as the mayor or shopkeepers. Quest givers often have a variety of quests that vary greatly in difficulty and rewards. There are quite a few types of quests, but the most common types are elimination, collection, delivery, and miscellaneous quests. Elimination quests generally involve eliminating a group of enemies that is terrorizing a town. Usually these enemies are bandits, but sometimes it is a pack of wild animals or creatures prowling the forest around a village. These quests are straightforward. Simply kill all the relevant enemies, or a certain number of them, and return to the quest giver to receive your reward for a job well done. Collection quests are similar to elimination quests, and you sometimes have to kill enemies. The difference is that you also have to collect a certain item from their corpse afterwards. This item can be anything from stolen goods to body parts. Some collection quests simply require you to collect certain items from the wilderness, like herbs or rubbings from an ancient stone sign. Return the specified amount of items to the quest giver to claim your reward. Delivery quests involve delivering messages to people in other areas. The quest giver generally gives you the message or package delivered to a person or drop box across town, and the recipient gives you the reward. This is the only type of quest that never requires you to return to the quest giver to be rewarded. Miscellaneous quests can be anything. The only common ground they hold is that you will usually never do the same thing twice. These can be anything from semi-mundane things like saving villagers from a burning building, escort missions or races, to more outlandish things like winning sword dueling tournaments or raiding a forgotten tomb. They can pop up anywhere, not just in villages, and you do not always have to return to the quest giver. A more common, but less lucrative way of obtaining gold is by looting the corpses of bandits. They usually have a fair amount of gold on them, since they make a living off of thievery and murder, and you'll often encounter them along the course of quests just wandering around the world. Compared to the other two methods, looting bandit corpses may seem like a waste of time, but the small sums you get from each corpse can add up to a significant amount by the end of the mission, not to mention how much you can make selling the equipment you find on them. You won't necessarily make mountains of gold from looting corpses, except in some rare cases, but it is nearly always worth looting the ones along the way to your destination, and elite enemies often have great rewards for defeating them, such as enchanted armor and weapons. The most conditional, but probably the fastest way to make money is crafting. At low levels of crafting, you can only make low-tier items, your bog-standard steel sword, leather armor, and small potions. These are worth little more than the ingredients required to make them. However, if someone spends a lot of points at crafting and becomes very good at it, they can create exceptionally good items and sell them for much more than they were worth initially. Crafting weapons, however, can be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, high-tier normal weapons cost a moderate amount of gold to make, and sell for slightly above their normal price. But to enchant a weapon with a magical effect, you need gold, and usually a lot of it. This can make the weapon cost much more to make than you could sell it for, with the upside of the weapon itself being very powerful. Crafting armor is a bit different. You will almost always at least break even when crafting armor. The exception is the extremely low tier. At higher levels, armor generally costs less to make than it sells for, allowing for a small profit. But enchanted armor sells for an exorbitant price, much more than it costs to make. Crafting potions is more reliable. It is a flat increase based on skill. At low levels, a potion costs a few gold more than the ingredients required to make it. At higher levels, the potion can cost almost 3 times as much as the components used, allowing you to net a large amount of gold in a short time as long as your stores and the shopkeeper's stock holds out. Crafting's monetary rewards are compensation for a specialized crafter's less than stellar combat ability. A crafter can be just as good as a knight in a sword fight, but only if he has powerfully enchanted gear. To enchant gear, a crafter requires large sums of gold, so a crafter has access to the easiest money-making strategy so that he can hold his own in a fight alongside the other characters. There is a fourth way, but this way has many risks and some terrible consequences for failure. Thievery is possible, but is often not worth it. Certainly, you can obtain powerful, unique items from shops in certain homes, and get large sums of gold for nearly no effort, but if you are caught, you can end up with nothing to show for it, or worse, a loss of gold. One of the consequences of being caught stealing is that shopkeepers no longer trust you. The effects of this can range from a simple raising of prices in the store, which only apply to you, to flat out being banned from shopping there. You can earn the trust of shopkeepers back, but it's definitely wise to simply steal rarely and try your hardest to not get caught when you do. And the second consequence is the most obvious. Regardless of their other decisions, shopkeepers will call guards. They will give you a choice. You must either fight and flee, pay a fine, or do a penance quest to redeem yourself. These usually range in difficulty from minor quests to very difficult elimination missions,